Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to do another follow-up video to the wormwood and screw tape letters that I have been reading. And it's so funny that I came across this one today that has to do with relationships. Because this is, I think, a area that I really struggle with, especially with a relationship with someone that is close to you that doesn't seem to be providing the fruit. That where one person is still walking in the world and the other person is learning more about their spirituality and has faith in God and the divine. And it's really hard when one person can see that they are being manipulated and overcome by demonic spirits, basically, is all you can chalk it up to. And I wonder if you can tell where this is going. And I came across this letter. It's the letter to Wormwood, and it is from the Satan, talking about how they can get into the relationship between the subject and his mother. And it sounds like they maybe live together, it's a mother and son situation. And it talks about how they try to get in and cause chaos and confusion. How to exploit their flaws, their quirks, things that get on each other's nerves, and how they can just wreak havoc on the relationship. And one of the areas I want to read is this, and it says, when two people have lived together for years, they each have certain gestures or tones that irritate the other. Exploit that. Remind your patient of those particular quirks in his mom he's grown to hate since childhood. Make him believe she does it just to bother him. It's unlikely he'll think this is far-fetched. And obviously, don't let him realize he has his own annoying quirks. So this is how Satan gets into our relationships and causes chaos and confusion. And it goes on to say, in everyday life, resentment often surfaces in passive-aggressive ways. Words that look harmless on paper, but are delivered in a stinging manner. To keep this going, you and Glubos, this is the other Satan assistant, need to ensure both of them have double standards. Your guy should expect all his statements to be taken at face value, while interpreting his mom's words in the most negative light possible. She should do the same. This way, after every argument, they both walk away thinking they're the innocent party. You know how it goes. I just asked her when dinner was, and she blew up. Once this pattern's set, you get the joy of seeing them purposefully annoying each other, yet act hurt when the other gets upset. So this is where I'm really struggling with close relationships. And I know that the person you're with should not act this way, or they maybe have their own cleansing that's taken place, and it's not an everyday occurrence that this happens. And where I struggle with is that when these things happen over and over again, it's to a point where it's like evil intentions, like it's narcissistic behavior. And the Lord says that we always have to forgive, even if we are wronged, 50 times, we have to forgive 70 times, and not to hold on to our anger. And And I know that the good Lord, he experienced these things too, walking around, in the towns, dealing with the Sadducees and Pharisees. And of course, when he was, brought up to be, crucified, they, treated him terribly. And when the disciples went against him. And so, why would we be able to, have anything better happen to us? But this is where I get, I don't know how to deal with it. Like, a lot of the things you read, the Lord doesn't want you to be a doormat either. They want you to have discernment and stick up for yourself. And, basically, you have the authority to trample serpents and scorpions under your feet. And, but how do you deal with someone's personality that will not change, that will not get better, even after the boundaries you set, even after, you know, whatever, walking away? I mean, at some point, I feel you have to end the relationship. And I feel that, you certainly have to pray to God about it, take it to the Lord, and, you know, have Him give you wisdom on what to do. But, to be honest with you, this is going on in my life right now, and I have actually prayed to God to have Him enter this person's heart to basically say that this is a toxic relationship and it just needs to end. I mean, I'm at a point where that is how I feel. And I am going to let the Lord direct how things go. But it's the first time that I've actually asked the Lord to enter someone and let them know that this is it. It's done. We're done. And so, yeah. One of the things that I looked up on this, because I was doing a lot of research on this, like, how can God and Jesus say to forgive and forgive so many times, and then yet say, don't be a doormat and don't let people take advantage of you, but you forgive and you forgive? I mean, is the forgiveness just based on you and keeping your peace? But how do you keep your peace when this bad behavior continues to happen over and over and over again? I mean, at some point you are considered a doormat because the behavior isn't changing. And they say to, like, distance yourself and, keep your peace and just not engage in it. But how do you not engage in it when you're living with this person? Like, this is where I struggle. So one of the Bible verses I found was Proverbs 22, 24, and 25. And it says, do not make friends with a hot-tempered person. Do not associate with one easily angered, or you may learn their ways and get yourself ensnared. And basically that means that, when you engage with these people that are hot-tempered, angry, narcissistic, abusive, you tend to pick up on those behaviors as well. And I can see that. Like, I have distanced myself from this person emotionally for quite a while now. And I can see that already my attitude has changed, my peace has changed. But I am also not divulging a lot of information at this time. And I think that's been the direction of the Lord, to keep quiet, don't talk about things, and, giving me a barrier almost to this person as much as I can for now, because they don't respect the boundaries, basically. And I am struggling with this because I have to find a way to increase the distance. And it's time. And there are certain things that have happened in our lives that is calling for this now. And I feel it's a perfect time because, I'm not going to go back on my boundaries that I've set. And I'm also not going to live in this situation anymore. So I don't know. I just struggle with how one does this, how one keeps up your boundaries and keeps your peace when the other person around you is being destructive. And then I started looking up, things about, Leviathan spirit and, how these people get overtaken but and by and subject people to spiritual warfare. And these people are being overtaken, and I know they have to come to the Lord for repentance, but this person doesn't want to, or doesn't feel they need to, or and doesn't believe. Like, this person is not walking in righteousness and not walking in the ways of the Lord. And I think that is one of the reasons why this person is able to be, um why these demonic spirits are able to jump into this person and, develop strongholds, because they have no spiritual armor on. They have no idea of what all of this means. And it's just and I've tried to get this person to see a different way, and they just roll their eyes, or they just, basically say, no, if this was happening, then, if God was around, then all this other stuff wouldn't be happening. I mean, that's what they all go to. And that's what everyone goes to be honest with you, that don't believe, that, um, you know, have a hard time walking with Jesus and God. And, you know, it is a valid point, but everything happens for a reason. And everything is made to make you a better individual, or strengthen you, or, give you more wisdom. And, on the flip side of that, they don't want to look at their own issues. They don't want to look at their own demonic activities. And that's where I have a hard time in, you know, just praying for these people, or, you know, forgiving, because when this continues to happen, it's no longer like, oh, I'm sorry, I won't do this again, it won't happen again, because it will happen again. And it's not a heartfelt, sincere apology. And it's insulting, and it is, you know, frankly abusive. And I have to be at a point where, I'm going to be making some decisions here. And I pray that God will be with me. I know He will. He's always has been, but I am not going to allow the demon to run havoc on my life anymore. I'm not going to do it. And some of me feels that once this, is eliminated from my life, um, things could change. And I'm ready for a change, truly. Um, so that's kind of like where my confusion is at the moment. So just coming back to the Leviathan spirit, I found some things online that it mentions that the Leviathan spirit is often associated with pride and control. It can manifest in various ways, such as through jealousy, manipulation, or gossip. And that is, anytime I've been confronted with the Leviathan spirit in someone, it they all manifest in these same ways. And I feel that, with work colleagues or whatever, there's kind of a way that you can, like, stay neutral. You can just keep your head down, do your work, maybe pick up your computer and go to a different area. If it gets out of hand, there's an HR department that can intervene there. But when these things happen in your family and with someone that you're in contact every day living with, it's very hard to um, stay neutral and not react, and all of these things that, if someone knows what they've done to help in this situation before the situation changes, like maybe if you're going through a divorce, and you're experiencing these things, how you got through it until, either the other person moved out, the divorce was final, how you handle this. Um, in spiritual warfare, the Leviathan spirit can be a formidable opponent. It seeks to undermine and destabilize the work of God, often by attacking the leaders and influences in a community. Signs and symptoms of Leviathan spirit oppression may include feelings of hopelessness, confusion, and discouragement. Those under its influence may struggle with making decisions and could even feel physically weak or drained. And, I will tell you this person that is in my life is always talking about how tired they are, always too tired to do things. You know, they claim it has to do with how busy they are at work and all of these things. And, I wonder if some of it has to do with their energy being drained from this demonic spirit. Um, yeah, I just don't know how one does this. And I really feel that a lot of it has to do with just the overall relationships people have with each other. Like, God says to love your neighbor as yourself, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And maybe the whole issue is that that is what has to be changed. As I was reading things last night, that seems to be the underlying thing, is the relationship people have with each other. Like, I don't know, and maybe this is something that's going to change here very soon. Everyone seems to be so out for themselves, competing against the other, trying to, take the other person down, backstabbing, all of these things that are part of a Leviathan spirit. And maybe that is the spirit that has to be, wow. Maybe that is the spirit that has to be done away in this world. Somebody needs to sit this Leviathan spirit down and have a come to Jesus and say no more. And we can, we can denounce, these demonic spirits and, make them take a step back and trample serpents and scorpions under our feet. Oh, sorry, my light went off. But at the end of the day, I feel that something powerful than us has to eradicate this from the world as we know it. Like, it has to. This Leviathan spirit, I think, has caused so much destruction in this world that of all the demonic spirits, Jezebel, any of the other ones, that is the one that I feel has truly wreaked havoc on this world. And I don't know, Wow. I don't know if the Lord is speaking to me right now. And this just came into my head right now that maybe that is what the whole cause of this is, and why the world is the way it is because of Leviathan. And it has to be eradicated. It has to be eradicated from this world. And I'm going to start praying that it does. I'm going to start praying that someone higher than us, Archangel Michael, God, Jesus, the heavenly hosts, whatever, start to take down the spirit, because it interferes and it wreaks havoc on everything from our institutions, our jobs, our relationships, anything. Out walking around in the world, driving around on the roads, like road rage, whatever. This is the spirit that I feel is truly strong arming everyone right now. And maybe this is the spirit that is actually the demonic force that is actually running this country right now. It's got to be. It's got to be, because that is the evilness that is controlling and making everything manifest in this world, and where it stems from. Wow. I'm getting chills right now, because I don't know if I am supposed to know this. I don't know if this is just what I have thought right now. But as I'm sitting here talking, it could make all the sense in the world. And I pray that this is eradicated. I pray that Leviathan is eradicated once and for all. Not that everyone is perfect, and not that everyone will, be walking around and seeing, unicorns and rainbows all the time, but something has to be done, because this is getting to be too much for everyone. Wow. So I hope this information was helpful. If you have any suggestions on how to deal with someone in your relationship and close proximity, and how to set boundaries and to not allow yourself to be taken advantage of and viewed as a doormat, I would really like to know, because I am struggling with this myself. I'm struggling with how to forgive people, but then use discernment to know when you're being taken advantage of, to denouncing these demons, to truly not being able to view this as being okay. This continual bad treatment. When you feel like you're putting everything in and you're asked to do more, yet there's no reciprocation. So again, I chalk it up to Leviathan, and I chalk it up to the fact that he needs to be eradicated from this world once and for all. Take care, and until next time, bye-bye.